So yeah, I'm aware that I'm fairly late with this particular vlog, but that's because I've been undergoing a number of things. Basically, the whole MRI, going away for the weekend beforehand, coming back, having an MRI, coming back, weaning myself off the antidepressants, and just having a very weird couple of weeks. Has it been a couple of weeks? I think so, yeah. So I've now taken the opportunity to sit down and actually do that, and there were some complications with the post because I got confused by the days, how they were set out, and I didn't have the energy to actually change a few things around. But I've done that now, it's all sorted. So, I would like to begin this vlog by saying a massive thank you to those who watch this, both friends, family, and people who have subscribed to my channel. I've received some absolutely lovely messages, some of which I haven't had the chance to respond to. Others, that is a dog. Yeah, basically a huge thank you to those of you who watch my channel. I'm so glad that you get inspiration and help from it. And I just want to say that as someone coming off antidepressants, it can be a struggle. Taking antidepressants can be a struggle. We all have our low days, but positive thinking. I just realised the irony of saying that. With the little voice in your head, which is kind of controlling your thoughts, try and combat it with silver linings, because the things you consider silver linings are there. They are fact. They're absolute fact. Don't listen to the myth and fantasy and doubt which is in the head, which is a lot harder than it is to do than it is to say. But ignore the doubt. That's not fact. That's something your brain has put there. And look at the facts. And if something good has happened, it means it'll happen again in the future. So that is personally how I work through my depression, as well as with the help of pills, and how I'm helping myself wean off. Literally anything can be seen as a silver lining or as an achievement, whether it's getting up out of bed in the morning, to giving a slight smile because you've thought of something, to going to work, to literally anything is a silver lining if you can put a positive spin on it. And what you need to do is build up on that, build up on all the silver linings that you can think of, and hopefully bit by bit that helps combat that little voice. And if that little voice goes, no, that's not true, no, that's not a thing, I don't know where you're getting this from, you can go, it's fact, this has happened, it is fact, you can't take that away from me. It's the other fantastical and fictional thoughts which come into your head, which you then need to try and combat. Those aren't facts. So yes, again, thank you so much to those who've been following me, to those, I'm just so glad it's given you inspiration and faith in yourself and in anything else it has, and you can work through this, because I've been through a hell of a lot myself, and I've just managed to work through it, and I've been through some very, very difficult times. If I can do it, you can do it. We can all do it together. So going back to my blog, so part 3. On Tuesday, still in the Warden Award, I woke up at 1 in pain, 1 in the morning in pain, desperately needing the bedpan. That was fun. Having now fully woken, insomnia kicked in, so I attempted to soothe my brain by reading. I must have dropped off soon after, as I was then woken for a sponge bath. I'd had these since arriving on the ward, so Monday. I commented that I was really looking forward to sitting in the chair and seeing how that went for me. After a pause, the nurse asked me if I wanted to both sit in the chair and wash myself. This would give them the chance to change my covers and tidy up. This made me grin. I was seriously getting joy out of the little things here. I know, I make it sound like I've been in hospital for such a long time, but I honestly think this was just Tuesday. But like I said, one day and night can feel like 2 separate days. So to me, I'd been there for like half a week already. It's so insane how time is distorted. So with the nurse's help, I began the first proper move since I'd climbed onto the trolley on Monday. See what I mean? It was a struggle, and I became ridiculously aware of every part of my body shifting and reorganising. Ever had such a big meal when you stand up, you need a couple of minutes to reorientate yourself? That, but more. I finally managed the chair, which was just a foot or so away. The nurse showed me the sponge bath equipment, then popped out to get linens. That's when I was hit by major IBS-like symptoms razzing my system. Waves of severe stomach cramp, making you feel like you're either going to pass out or throw up, whilst trying not to let go of what's there. Waiting for the nurse to return was agony, as she was in no hurry to come back. It might have been a few minutes, but it felt like an eternity. On her return, she saw the cry for help in my eyes, then swiftly left to return with a chair on wheels with a hole in it. Okay then. The curtains were closed and I settled down. I keep losing my place in the script, bloody hell. There we go. And I settled down. Were the nurses leaving? Nope. They've got stuff to do around my bed. Before hospital, I've actually had stress dreams about people being around me when I'm attempting to use the loo. So I felt incredibly vulnerable. I then realised that they were only glancing at me because there was a delay in movement. So I just managed to get through by repeating, they've seen it all before, they've seen it all before, it's fine. Finally done, I returned to the previous chair and had the less vital plugs taken out, then gave myself my own sponge bath. Oh, my kingdom for a shower at this point. I rewarded all my hard work by having breakfast in chair. However, once I'd digested, I felt the overwhelming need to lie down again. It's amazing how exhausting sitting in a chair after an operation can be. So back to bed with help in time for rounds, and was informed by the surgeon and consultants that everything was going smoothly. Oh yeah, my diabetes symptoms had passed by now. Q and ECG and a number of plugs being removed, though the cannulas, the catheter and the drain still in. I had 3 more medical visits after that, my counsellor for a very brief session, the pharmacist who had to leave soon after as the daily ultra scanner, which I forgot to mention before, popped in. For now, everything was running smoothly. So Wednesday and the move. I'm aware that these are 2 days together, but the bit I just read, the bit I just said, was too short as a single post in its own. Wednesday was a busy day as I was moved to a less dependent ward, which is pretty impressive after a kidney transplant, it's got to be said. Literally off like 3 days. Great, but there is a small sense of loss at the priority you've previously experienced. The entire bed was removed from its post in Duodenum and I was taken to the next ward. This was in the form of one long corridor lined with separate wards either side and a nurse's station close by. There was one HDU, high dependency unit, filled with beds and monitors opposite the nurse's station and the rest of the wards in separate rooms. The wards themselves consisted of 4 beds with their own curtains, plugs, a cabinet for stuff and meds, and a toilet for the 4 people on ward. Family and I were all under the impression that I'd be with Emily, who'd already been moved there. Nope. Seems they referred that bed to someone else, and as their medication et al. Was already set up, I was moved to another one a little further down. So I barely saw her during my time there as we were both too tired to move. I received one visit from her when she was able to walk with assistance, but I suggested she go back to bed after a bit as I could see just sitting in the chair was a struggle for her. I soon met the nurses who were looking after the ward, and here I'd like to say hats off to the nurses on that floor, who, despite facing pretty much every type of crazy, still managed to walk around with smiles on their faces. My favourite porter, however, was a Polish guy with a strong accent who'd walk in the ward, see a new person, e.g. me, and say, "Hello, I am," can't recall the name, "I am Bloodman. I love taking blood. Blood is my hobby." He said this with such enthusiasm you couldn't help but find him absolutely awesome. I didn't write in the accent. That is how he spoke. So, first night in the new ward. My first night, unfortunately, was pretty awful. In HDU, I was advised to slow down the use of the painkiller button to try and wean myself off. Then it had been completely removed. In this new ward, they took away all painkillers, so I was just on paracetamol. But the medicine cupboard was kept locked at all times, and the relief from paracetamol only lasted so long. My attempt at braving it out resulted in having a pain-induced nightmare, and my brain physically stating the words, "You are in pain, take something." As soon as this happened, I saw a nurse come in and asked for drugs. So by now, stupid early in the morning, I'm awake and feeling fairly cruddy. However, the cocktail of drugs in my system seemed to take this as a sign that it should make me feel as horrendously belchy as possible and give me the most astounding morning breath. My description of that sensation was, it's like a skunk has crawled into my mouth, taken a dump, then proceeded to die and rot. Why yes, nausea, you join in too! This sounds deeply unpleasant. That's because it was. Again, I informed the nurse, who gave me a pill and told me to let it settle, then eat something, which I did. All of the crackers! After feeling a touch better, I later realised that rather than just feel hungry, I was now getting waves of nausea as warning. I wasn't allowed flowers at my bed due to bacteria and the like, so I was given food and snacks. A huge thank you to those of you who provided them for me. Seriously, it's one of the ways I got through the more difficult times. I'm not getting emotional, just not with it. It's just too much. So I sat up and read and proceeded to eat the majority of what was on the table. Finally found myself falling asleep sitting up, but for fear of losing the sensation, I refused to move and just closed my eyes. I did sleep, but it was sporadic. I was randomly woken by heavy snoring. What? By heavy snoring, which earbuds and plugs with music could not block out, or when the still attached pipes caused me issues, alarms going off or general discomfort. Basically, I slept really badly. Somebody started snoring and I put the music on, I just didn't want to block it out, and I was very aware of the snoring and it was very difficult for me to get to sleep. That and the fact that I kept rolling onto wires and stuff. Yay! I will be posting up the next one, I promise. The next post soon. I'm going to stop being so pants.